City of Gary Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, April 23rd. Will please come to order.
28th.
Director.
23rd, I'm sorry.
23rd, my friend.
Yeah.
Don't rush
Looking
this.
at next
Don't
scheduled
rush
meeting.
it. Don't rush it. All right. Planning Director Kabitis, roll call, please.
No rush, no rush.
Okay, Russell Cundiff,
Present.
Howard Harper, Dave Schilling,
Here.
Reverend Tromko,
Yes.
Bill Cook,
Present.
Tony Valerie,
Present.
Charles Emery, Ronald Burr.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 2 absent, 6 present, we have a quorum.
All right, we have a quorum. Okay, if we could have a motion to approve the minutes
So moved.
for March 12th.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded. Planning Director Kabitis, roll call, please.
Cundiff,
Yes?
Schilling,
Yes.
Protho,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Valerie,
Yes.
Brewer.
Yes.
Okay, 6 yes, 0 no.
Pass these down to her. Hey, Councilman. How you doing, man?
All good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sign.
Everybody's got a copy?
Sign on the back. Just one copy for me.
Thank you.
All right. So our first item on the agenda will be petition 19-02. Mark Romano is petitioning to vacate the alley immediately north of 925 North Shelby Street. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of that particular project? So please come forward.
I'm Mark Romano.
Okay, Mr. Romano, so please come forward and explain to the commission what it is that you're attempting to do, or would like to do anyway.
I made a little file that'll explain everything too.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Romano. Basically, what the first page, this used to be a pharmacy.
Can you move up to the table?
Oh, sure.
Either that or you can stand. You can stand if you want to.
I'm going to sit.
Okay, I know that'd be more appreciable.
We understand this is not an ideal arrangement. It's only temporary until council chambers are fixed, so apologies.
Okay. Then it was a grocery store. It's been vacant for 2 or 3 years. I'm recently have it under contract. And next to it is an alley that goes nowhere. There's a wall. So I'd like to do is vacate that. Maybe put some outdoor seating there and a garden for herbs and spices, because I want to open up a little Italian restaurant. Also, if you look at the next page, that shows the area that has to vacate, circled. Then the next page, it should be like an aerial view. And then the next page is the alley of what it looks like now. And then the next page is a bigger shot of the area. Then the next page is Frank Scala owns the property adjacent to the alley, and that's, he approved of the idea. He owns the property just north of me. He's got 3 lots there.
Okay.
And then the next page is what I hope it will look like when I'm done. Now, the colors might be different, they might be a little different. This is just the first rendering.
So you would be putting a roof over that outside seating area?
Yeah, it's a little seating area.
Yeah. It'd be screened in, so it
Hopefully, yes.
would
Yeah.
be part of where you would need heating and cooling or anything like
Yes,
that?
sir. I have to get it, approved.
Now, have you purchased the building, or are you sitting, you're just under contract?
Previously, I have like, I believe, zoning change, it's a contingency, and the liquor license contingency.
So in the packet that I provided you, there's a letter from the current owner of the property saying that she's aware of the vacation petition and the zone change petition, and that she gives Mr. Romano the right to continue.
Mr. Romano, as I look at this right here, is this what you're looking to vacate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it goes nowhere. I don't know why. it was-
No,
Yeah.
I understand.
But you're not,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. And if in fact, for whatever reason, would the vacation go back to the original owner? Is that the idea? Are you looking to purchase
No,
it?
I'm going to purchase a boat.
I see, okay.
Okay, Commissioners, we've gotten an explanation as to what it is he intends to do. I'm well familiar with the area myself and the building in particular. And I'm, not sure what the community surrounding would feel about it. There's a few restaurants there, but, obviously we want to see places occupied, businesses, restaurants, anything that could be an advantage or something that's going to enhance the community. So,
Can I make a quick comment before we continue?
of course, you can.
I think that since these two petitions are tied together, it's the same petitioner, same project, maybe he should just give an overview of everything right now. and
Okay, so we
then,
could go ahead and read the next petition.
Well, at least he can give an overview. We'll vote separately, but that way you have a full picture of everything. We like to do vacations first because if we're doing a rezone, we would want
Absolutely.
vacation first, and so.
Now, the second part of this petition 19-03, Mr. Morano is petitioning 925 Shelby Street from B1 to B3, which is B3 to open a restaurant with a liquor license. And B3 is to enhancement or,
So B1, which is the current zoning, does not allow for establishments that serve alcohol. So B3, it allows for restaurants, but not ones that serve alcohol. Mr. Romano wants to serve alcohol in his restaurant, so I recommended switching to a B3, which is still a pedestrian-oriented commercial zone, so it fits with that, the rest of the zoning kind of on that corridor in that area, but also allows for him to open a restaurant with a license.
so you explained all that in the first, during your explanation, so we understand that that'll be the second part that we'll vote on separately, but the first thing is petition 19-02. Commissioners haven't heard his explanation.
Let me ask you a question before you get to that.
No.
How wide is the alley that you're proposing we vacate?
I believe, I think the alley's at 15 feet, if I'm not mistaken.
It looks like, yeah, it looks like it's, yeah,
And then I
15
think
to
you have
20.
a 10-foot easement on each side, if I'm not mistaken.
On the north side, anyway.
Yeah, on both sides, I
because-
think you get 10 feet of, on each side of the alley.
Right.
So I think it would be, what, 40 feet now?
Now, generally speaking, when there's a
See that.
vacation, is the property not divided?
It typically is automatically, you get, the people on one side would get on half.
Half.
So
Yeah.
you'd want to make sure that if this is approved, when you do your plat or your survey work, get everything cleared with the county, that you get the whole thing, otherwise you're gonna get 10, they'll get 10.
Yeah, so you want to make sure you get it all. In fact, you're going to have a
And
nice
that would be the
seating
next
area.
stage if it's approved. I would,
Yeah, you have, it has to be
We'll do
platted.
public comment later.
Is the owner of that property adjacent here, by any chance?
no, he's in Florida, but he signed the petition.
So
Okay.
in
He
the,
sent it.
Does he realize that, as was mentioned before, that many instances when there's a vacation, the property's divided down the middle? You get half, the other person gets half.
I'm not sure, I'm not gonna.
Okay, that's something he ought to know and get the information from him, so that you're not shortchanged. In fact, you can do that, Mr. Romano.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm in the process of negotiating with him.
Okay,
So it's one of the.
fine, as long as you know,
I appreciate it.
I want that to be mentioned. Okay.
So the owner of that property did sign off on the vacation, so in your most recent hard copy that I provided you, it has the owner's signature on there, so.
He would vacate if in fact,
That he's okay with the vacation. It's,
not the half.
no, that's between the two of them.
Okay, all
So,
right.
well, between the two property owners.
All right, okay.
We don't have anything to do with that, so.
All right. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I.
No, because I was getting ready to open it up, that's why I guess
All right.
explained that he would give an explanation. So I was going to ask if any was questions coming from the commissioners in reference to that, anything else?
So are you going, Chair, are you going any further back after the vacation of that brick wall there? Are you going back and
No,
just
that's,
right there?
it's a
that one-
dune.
Yes, a hill.
What's it?
Yeah,
that-
I
okay.
can't. I think that's more of a retaining wall, too.
It is,
Yeah.
definitely.
And what's your time span on, once everything's approved on getting this up and going?
I would like to get the remodeling inside and outside, I would like to do it in 60 days. It's a little aggressive, but I've done 4 of them now.
Yeah, you want to take advantage of something.
Yes,
Sure.
I don't want to rush it too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the issue is probably going to be liquor license, right? Have you
Yeah,
already-
I'm scheduled for the hearing, I believe, June 5th.
Yeah.
Are you getting a new liquor license or are you purchasing somebody else's?
It's a new one, there's 4, I think there's 4 left in Gary.
Anyone else, any questions?
Well, last question. What type of restaurant is this?
It's gonna be like an Italian with a twist.
Okay.
It's gonna have some homemade pastas, homemade eggplant parmesan, salads, Italian beef, Italian sausage, calzones, pizza. Simple but quality.
You have your cook lined up?
I'm older.
That did be better, home cooking.
Well, my only comment is that that area is vibrant at this point in time with a couple of restaurants and especially the pizza place, as you know. And I don't know if there's anyone here in opposition. I wouldn't see why. Healthy competition won't hurt anybody because the community
Plus,
can
it
use
would
something.
repurpose that building.
Yes. I've been here, I've been here for 7 years. I have 2 other investment properties. I love this neighborhood. And that building's it's a nice one.
It is, it
Yeah, I'm familiar with the past owner and went through a grocery store and at one point we turned it into an actual jazz nightclub.
Yes.
It was set up as a studio with a stage and the whole bit. And so if all the kinks have been worked out, because she went through a lot of issues with water and air conditioning, things of that nature.
is. Yeah, that way we don't have to drive all the way up to Little Italy.
That's where I'm from.
All right, if there's no other questions, any comments, then maybe we could take a motion. Anybody?
Well, we have-
Well, I'm sorry. We would like to have a public session, and I would like to ask if there is anyone that'd like to come forward and speak for this particular project. Please come forward, give your name and address, and 3 minutes, please.
You have to
You can
come
stand,
up. Oh, absolutely.
because we got this on record, it's being recorded.
My name is Leela Durkach, and that's my husband Sigmund. We own the property across, and we actually know Mr. Romano. We purchased the old Kirk
Right.
with the idea of having a community sort of place, didn't want it to fall in the wrong hands, and we met Mr. Romano, and we have nothing against the idea. We just have a couple of questions about the precedent that could be set with vacating those spaces, those alleys, which are kind of natural public spaces. So I just wanted to understand, because that's one of the reasons that we moved here. We also have a home not far from the old Perk, is that you have these public spaces that prevents overbuilding like there is in Chicago. So I guess the first question is, what is the council's policy about vacating as a general practice?
Well, we had a president of the council here, he could speak to that issue.
Well, we haven't had a lot of people come and asking for vacating of open spaces, so it hasn't seemed to be a problem in the past.
Yeah, I can tell you about the process. So, the process of vacating any sort of public property, usually it is alleys. It actually does not ultimately go in front of city council, it just goes through plan commission, but since we have a representative from city council, he kind of sees everything that happens, and speaks from the city council perspective. However, in order to vacate property, it has to, the petitioner, whoever would like to claim ownership of the property, has to come before plan commission like we're doing today. They have to get approval or sign off from all of the utility companies as well as the city. They have to notify and show notification, show proof that they notified all kind of abutting property owners, which Mr. Romano did with Mr. Scala. And ultimately, the plan commission votes whether to approve or deny or to offer some sort of different recommendation. And then it goes to the Board of Works. Dave Schilling is our city engineer, and perhaps he could speak to the process that Board of Works goes through.
Yeah, they would, the Board of Works is in charge of all the city property. So they're actually relinquishing the control of that property to the property owners that it's vacated to. So when I look at these, you know, the purpose of an alley typically is for access and for utilities. In this particular case, we have letters from utilities, there are no utilities, and with that wall and the dune behind it, and that's really not providing access, it's not creating any dead ends. And I think there's, you know, the setback requirements that the city has is more of your kind of overbuilding type of thing. So in this particular case, I see no issues with, you know, vacating that 20-foot strip and getting it on the tax rolls.
It's more of an enhancement than anything.
Well, that's my 3 minutes, so thank you.
If I can have 2 minutes with this. I'll talk very quickly, and my English is not so good, so.
Now, this is if anyone is speaking
So I
for
want to say,
speaking for the particular project, because
Yeah.
I'll be asking if anyone will speak against it afterwards. So you're speaking for the project?
I have a question based on some information. I would be vote against or for. A gentleman tried to rent this from our space, which is across the street, and we didn't agree. So, if I may use my 3 minutes,
Can
very
you
quickly.
quickly state your name and
My
your
name
address?
is Zygmunt Derkacz, 1172 North Shelby. We are 1 block from that place. So because of that building we bought across, which we didn't buy for business, we bought it for community. So someone doesn't do stupid stuff in the middle of the neighborhood. Okay, we have like 12 people and we refused because there was stuff from tire shop to magazines and other stuff. We were very bad for that important colony. Actually my wife's question was about policy you do, because we moved from Chicago here because of the bar they put next to our venue, Chopin Theater, and we were voted Chicago #1 venue in Chicago. Second was Art Institute, Lyric Opera, Millennium Park, and Symphony Orchestra. So we have to move, and we love to be here. We've been here 5 years. Our kids go to school here. But the #1 thing in Miller Beach are those little spots because of those streets of the green stuff. That is nobody had it in time. So that's why I asked about policy, because we could ask the same thing next week, because we make an alley next to us, yeah, and somewhere else. Also, there's issue of revenue, which 300-400 of those spots, if you charge some money, you have 100-200,000 that's every year, extra money. But the issue is we want Mr. Romano to succeed, because it's vacant building and he got right, and we support that idea. However, there are a couple questions. One of them, there's no parking right now on that street. So we let people, because our building is vacant right now, so we let like 20 cars to park. And we will close it down when we rent our space. So there will be 20 cars. Plus, he will open his restaurant. Let's say only 20 cars will come to his place. There will be a problem. Perhaps if that could be parking lot for his use, that would be the best use of this thing. Another thing is, there may be not use of that part because there is a dune, but you have no connection to the other alleys. So if you run to any cables, anything like that, you have to pay for it. You understand? You're selling one parcel along all the roads, so you have no communication because it's privately owned. You cannot do anything with that. Whether you run water, sewer, or anything. But that's issue for you. You know about those things. You decided. But my issue is parking will be issue when you open your restaurant because I will definitely have to do something because of liability of our parkings. Okay. So that was the issue. Liquor license. I have no problem for restaurants. However, we just went to the and you have bar in Chicago. I went to your bar. And it's basically bar with some pizza on the side.
I'm sorry, you're mistaken.
Okay,
Okay,
your-
after time.
yes, sir, your time is up.
So I just wanted 1 minute because there was some questions. So I
Not
couldn't
during
talk.
your
Because
portion.
I'm really not sure whether he's talking for or against, or he's talking for modifications, or you
Well,
recommend it.
let's just, your time is up, your 3 minutes to speak are up.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can address some of your questions.
Okay, I will try to put this on next block as much more refined, detailed comments for this because election time is, and I think this, the thing that don't change much here is that I think part of that is
Sir,
that if
I'm
you
really
give me 3
sorry.
minutes to talk
You
about,
spoke for 3 minutes already, sir, we have to.
but you think 3
enforce
minutes is
time.
enough to address?
Sir,
Yes.
please, your 3 minutes is up. We want to move the meeting on, and other people may have some commentary, would you? Okay, because you could,
There are two
if
issues, and
necessary.
You give me 3 minutes for two major
Sir,
issues, so I
there
get
will be,
minute and a
there will
half.
be a time to speak on the next issue, but you need to go back to your seat because your time is up. Thank you.
So is there anyone else who want to speak for this particular project? Would you please come forward, give your name, address, and 3 minutes, please? So if there's anyone who wants to speak against this particular project, would you please come forward, give your name, address, and 3 minutes, please?
That would be me.
All right.
My name's Larry Verduzco, and my property is 8325 Locust Street, within the 400 feet of the subject property you're talking about. And I've owned the property there for 10 years, and I'm all about renovating in that area. It's a very good area, very strong area, has great potential. My property itself is kind of in limbo because I'd like to see what direction that corner of Shelby and Locust Avenue is going. And Mr. Romano's idea on that property is his idea. My viewpoint on it is being a resident and a next door neighbor to the Flamingo Bar. I've had a lot of drunkenness spill over into my property. And my property is zoned residential. So a single family home or, you know, a two-family home, you know, they would be affected by the entertainment, alcohol that's being served, not only by the Flamingo presently, but also by another restaurant, tavern in that same community. And whatever gets developed through the other property owners, real estate, you know, that could potentially be the same thing. My property, I think, suffers not being able to be used to its best use, being zoned residential. So with the idea of developing and changing some zoning on that corner, I'd like it to also be considered for mine. I think that my property would be better suited to be a business and residential combined. I'd like to take the residential off of the main floor. I have too much litter every day. I have people just sitting on my retaining wall, you know, fence wall outside of my property all through the night.
Where do you live again, sir?
8325
So
Locust Avenue,
you're right next to the,
Flamingo. Here is the Flamingo, here's Locust Avenue, here's the Flamingo property,
Right.
and I'm right here.
Okay.
These two lots here,
Right.
which are directly across from these other, the old Perk building,
Right.
okay?
Right, okay.
So that's where I'm speaking of. So I'm kind of in that corner with the businesses, and I get, you know, all of the after hours stuff.
now, we bought, when Flamingo was there when you bought, right?
Yes, of course.
Obviously, yeah.
Yes, they were.
What type of business would you propose to put there on that first floor?
Well, I would certainly, you know, be open to the suggestions of this council because there's different types of zonings. And, you know, to have a small business that would have limited hours on the main floor, such as something, you know, artsy, maybe a gallery, maybe something like that, or maybe a takeout food place, no, you know, with, you know, minimum seating, 6 to 10 seats.
Now, is that not an issue he would raise separately?
So, you have 10 seconds left, but
Okay.
if you're done, I can address your comment. I just don't want to cut you off.
Okay.
Okay.
My closing statement is that I don't want to see more development towards the liquor licenses in that area, with my property being involved in it, remaining a residential.
Okay, so, and if you would like to rezone your property, you have the right to do that the same way that Mr. Romano came before us. You can fill out a petition and bring it in front of this body. It costs $250, plus the cost of certified mail and things like that. So if you would like to have your property rezoned, that is the means to do it. There's a process to it. So you would have to go through the same process that we're going through right now for your own property. And if you want to do that, I can help you. So just let me know after the meeting and we can get in touch and we can start that process for you.
Okay, but in any way, do you folks see that I'm affected by this? That's why I'm here today. I was going to come to rezone it anyways, but, you know, this letter arrived, you know, in my mail, and it's the same concern I have.
So you should definitely, if you want to rezone your property, you should definitely come in and file a petition to rezone. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
May I have a comment about liquor license, because I'm just talking about vacancy.
Sir, you used your 3 minutes. Those
But
are the
for
rules.
two issues, give me for two issues, give me.
We have closing the public portion
For the
and-
first petition.
for the first petition. And going to petition 19-03, the
Okay.
petition,
Do we want, we should probably
yeah,
vote.
vote on separately.
Yes.
Okay, so we've heard the public portion for petition 19-02. Any comments from the commissioner in reference to that? Anything else?
I
On
always
the
thought
table.
that this area he's wanting vacated was part of that, not an alley. So that's something I just learned. I thought it was just a parking lot, you know.
It is, at this point, it's concreted and the whole bit.
Yeah. I
But,
thought
you
that
know,
was
who
all
knew
just
that it was
part
an
of it.
alley, but it goes nowhere
Yeah.
because it runs into a dune.
I know that, but I'm just saying, I always thought that that was just parking for the business.
Is it an alley or is it a parking lot?
It was never really.
Alley, but they've been using it as a parking lot.
So
Well,
where are
really, it
your
wasn't.
customers gonna park?
Where everyone parks now,
Wherever they can.
on the street.
Pretty much.
And if the insurance company allows it, because I want some outdoor seating for the people. There's a liability issue if you bring a car close to them, which I'm investigating. Because I would love to have extra parking.
But your business is
Sir,
vacant, another
you gotta
business is
stop.
vacant.
I'm sorry. We
I
have
know.
public portion.
You have to, look, sir, you have to show some respect for this commission. All right, you've had your portion. Let us continue. Let us continue. Or if not, you can leave.
No, you give me a minute and a half.
I told you, your portion is over. I'm not gonna tell you again.
Okay, I would like to.
All right, I want respect.
Public one, with your respect.
We demanded
I'm
it.
66. I've been in this thousands of times.
We're all
A
grown.
minute and a half.
We're all grown ups
You
here.
give me a minute and
You're
a half.
done.
I'm done. Thank you. That's very.
That was my question, I'm done.
You're done.
I think the other thing that I kind of wanted to point out, I mean, we're only here on the vacation of the alley.
That's
We're
all.
not here about parking issue. That would be a separate issue that would go before a site plan committee if there,
Absolutely.
if Mr. Romano did follow through with the actual development. There would be issues about set off, there would be issues about parking, all that would come up at a different hearing. So I mean, we can move
We're here
on.
for vacation, and that's what we want to do.
Okay.
So, we've all heard, and we want to close the public portion. So do we want to have a motion on this?
I gotta do our,
Staff would give you a recommendation, certainly.
okay. So of the letters that were sent, we sent out 65 letters to surrounding property owners. We got back 4 responses, and the four responses were opposed. We had 10 that were undeliverable. We had 1 call in support, and that was it. Then we've had the people who've spoken at this meeting. In terms of the vacation, so we're only speaking on the vacation right now.
Exactly.
In terms of vacation for the alley, he has the support of the nearby property owner. He has the support of Indiana American Water and excuse me, so they have signed off on their rights. They say that they do not need the alley for any sort of utility purposes, and they signed off their rights to it. Gary Sanitary District has not yet signed off their rights to it. They are, as you know, they have done work on Shelby Street.
Absolutely.
And they are planning to continue that work. I mean, they've done work on Locust Street, excuse me, and they're planning to continue that work on Shelby all the way down to Lakeshore Drive. Part of that does include accommodating parking needs, which is an issue. There was the potential thought that the city, Gary Sanitary District, would use that alley for additional parking potentially. No decisions have been made, but the Gary Sanitary District is concerned about cutting off that option entirely, given the limited parking in the area. So I have several potential recommendations. Bear with me here. The first is that the property owner gets a temporary easement agreement, so he can set out tables and even build a, I don't want to call it a temporary structure, but
Right.
a structure without a foundation to provide an awning perhaps for outdoor seating. That way, if in the future, the city or Gary Sanitary District needed to use the alley for parking, it could be, it's a temporary easement. So that wouldn't cost him anything. He wouldn't have to pay for the maintenance, ongoing maintenance. He wouldn't have to pay taxes on the property. So that's the trade-off there. The other option would be to approve it here with the condition that is ultimately approved by the Gary Sanitary District. So approve it with a contingency, and then essentially let Mr. Romano coordinate with the sanitary district to come up with a solution that benefits or is agreeable to both of them. It would then, again, as I mentioned, ultimately go to Public Works for the final approval. So those are the two options. I would recommend either denying it and providing a temporary easement agreement to Mr. Romano, or approving it conditionally contingent upon ultimate approval by Gary Sanitary District.
Let me ask this question relative to the parking needs for the Gary Sanitary District. Is that the needs during the construction, the proposed construction on Shelby down to the lake, or
No,
when would they need parking?
it would be public parking, using the alley to create additional public parking places. Gary Sanitary District is financing that street improvement, so they are in charge of finding
Okay,
the locations for public parking.
okay.
So it would not be parking for Gary Sanitary District, it would be public parking as part of a Gary Sanitary District project. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, that explains it.
Yeah. So I essentially give you two recommendations. And
It seems that, the second one, because of the fact that there is another approval that we need, the sanitary district, that either that or table it, but we could consider, doing that.
Chair, I would move that we take the second option
Right.
that was outlined.
Right.
And with the final approval done by the sanitary district, and let them make the final call.
Exactly. That means he would have to come back.
No, it have to be, we will approve it now
Sanitary district.
with that,
Okay.
but it would have to go through the Board of Works
Board
for
of
final
Works.
approval.
Okay, right.
Yes,
All right.
See what they would say.
do you want to make a motion? Is that a motion?
that's my motion, yes.
Okay, is everyone all right with that? Mr. Schilling?
That's a motion to approve contingent on GSD,
Correct.
not on the Board of Works. Well, I guess it would be both.
It would not come to Board of Works until it was approved by GSE, or until an agreement was reached.
Right.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Condit?
So, there's been motion and seconded, and
been a while.
Director
All
provide
that.
us, roll call, please.
Condit?
Yes.
Schilling?
Yes.
Rocco?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Valerie?
Yes.
Brewer?
Yes.
6-0, motion passes.
Okay.
Do you
so-
understand, Mr. Romano? What
Yes,
is
I need a final approval from Gary.
So I'll coordinate with you, and we've been working on this, so I'll put him in touch.
That's fine, thank you.
Yeah.
And just add before we move to the second one, this will, hopefully we can get something working out with GSDs instead of looking at parking, where it will take care of the issue that you all are having also
Yeah.
with parking.
Right.
And then, of course, we had already addressed your issue there too.
I feel like it,
Bring
this,
back
this
the
solution,
community
yes,
anymore.
is an opportunity for everyone to win.
Yeah, because in actuality, that area, the alley area, was never used for parking, even when,
Not,
Uh,
it's not currently
when
used.
Camilla had it, it was a loading area, whatever, so it was always blocked
And
off.
she has several events there, like
A
you
lot,
said, even
absolutely.
with jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, parking is an issue in that particular area. There's some vacant land. I don't know if that's gonna be used or built on or whatever, but, you know, we can't have it both ways. We're looking for improvement and good things to come and revitalize the area, but yet, you know, there's issues with parking. And the good thing about that area is that there's a lot of walk-in traffic. A lot of people walk there to those different facilities and whatever. And in your case, you know, with that, just probably demand, you know, better security from the people next door. I mean, you know, from the restaurant. Because I know, you know, I've been down there. They've had bands and things like that. You know, when it starts to drinking and whatever, it's been crazy. But you live next door. I've known people that have lived in that house next to you for years, and you know, that's always going to be an issue. So we would hope that with the Romano would have a good security in reference to,
Mine is more of a family restaurant.
yeah.
For a lot of children to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we hope we wouldn't add any
You know,
more.
I would like to have heard what this gentleman here wanted to say additionally too. You only asked for.
Well, he's got to come back with his project
Yeah.
in reference to what they're talking about.
I appreciate it
Thank you very much.
because my language,
Well,
as
let
you know,
me
the
just
foreign,
on the
you
second.
can ask me.
We'll let you speak on the
Speak on the
second
second,
one.
yeah, on the
Okay,
second.
the second one, all right.
So on the second, Director.
Before we continue, I have just a question, just want to get Rodney. I know Ms. Valerie has somewhere to be.
Yeah, right.
We have currently 6 present, 3 absent. If she were to have to leave before we voted, will we still have a quorum?
It's a 6-member board, correct?
So, yeah. No,
Nine
it's
member.
a 9-member board.
9-member board.
Right.
Yeah,
But
Five.
then, yeah, you would have 5, as long as the 5 all agree.
As long as
yeah,
the, okay.
Yeah, so it's gotta be a majority of, it's a
let's try
majority
to
of the
move
board, not a
on. It's
majority.
about 22.
Yeah.
That's the way that they.
We're gonna be able to make it or what?
That's true.
Okay, so we'll move forward.
Hey,
Yes.
can you move forward without me?
All right.
We'll move forward without you. If there's any sort of issue, perhaps we can give you a call.
Oh, wow.
But I think we should be okay.
Okay, that's
Thank
fine.
you.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so we've been moved and seconded on the first part of that petition,
Oh, sorry.
19-02. The second part, petition 19-03, Mr. Romano to rezone to B3 from B1 and to open the restaurant and the liquor license. And you've given an explanation about what you plan on doing, and we got that. So it's a question among
Let me
the,
just make a statement. The reason why I needed the liquor license, so many people have tried and failed without one. It's just, it's an add-on. And I'm not looking at frat nights, I'm not looking at, well, you can drink beer. It's gonna be an adult place with food.
What was your hours? Yeah, hours of operation.
You know, I'm not sure if it's summer, the winter. I'd like to open up for lunch and stay open, especially on the weekends. But in the summer, in the winter time, I'm not sure yet how I would address that with staying open every day.
okay, well, it was very difficult for Camilla to function, especially with the jazz club without liquor license, and I don't know what the holdup was, but things kind of fizzled, but, you know, at one point in time, it was a good concept, a real good
What
idea.
steps have you taken to obtain the license, and are there any impediments that would cause you not to get it?
None that I'm aware of. I think I applied a month ago. And my hearing is set up June 4th or 5th, if I'm not mistaken.
So the approval, if granted, would be pending your receipt of the license.
Well, either way, if I get a B3, I can improve the buildings or something.
No, but I'm just saying,
If
just in
that's
case,
part of the
if we
contingency.
approve the license, it would be contingent on you getting the license.
Yes, sir. That's the other contingency.
Yeah,
So it seems as though they're both contingent, essentially.
yeah.
I have 3 contingencies: the vacate, the zoning change, which will make it legal, and the liquor license.
Gotcha.
Those are the only 3 I have.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we'll open the public portion for the petition 19-3. If anyone wants to come forward and speak for this particular project, please come forward. Yeah, of course, you've already been forward.
He
No, it's fine.
technically can,
Yeah, of course, if he wants to. I don't know what else he could say, but since there's no one,
Say what you gotta say.
yeah,
Say
go
what you
ahead.
gotta say.
Any more than what you have?
oh, I was speaking about
He's
this
from
general, oh, no.
No, well, we're talking about speaking for the particular
Oh.
project. I don't see where he's speaking for it.
So,
State your name and address again.
Just to be clear, you're speaking for this, towards it, in favor of it.
I'm against.
Then you have to
Well,
wait.
I'll bring
Just
you
stay
up.
there,
Yeah.
but you'll be,
So there's no one to speak for the particular project?
you don't. You,
All right, since there's no one come forward to speak for it, if anyone who wants to speak against the particular project, please come forward, give your name, address, and 3 minutes. 3 minutes, please.
I know about the situation.
Your name and address.
My name is Sekun Dirkach, 1176, North Shelby, 1 block north from the restaurant.
Okay.
Also, we own property across the street. I know about this issue because in 1986, we went to worst neighborhood in Chicago, Cabrini Green. And we changed the neighborhood, and you find 1,000 articles about me, including 4 in Chicago Tribune last 6 months. We changed that to best neighborhood Wicker Park in Chicago right now. And the problem was always with alcohol and the gangs and other stuff. We shoot, this. My problem with this is what does really mean liquor license? For example, Flamingo has a restaurant open to 10, and the liquor license is sold till 3 o'clock. So I would like to ask, is this what you want to do? If you have a family restaurant, I'll be very happy if you go to get some spaghetti with wine, it's fine. But if it's closed at 10 and it's have a bar till 3 o'clock, then it's not a restaurant. It's a bar. And I can understand your financial needs for that. I can understand your powers to do another bar. Okay? I just think first thing is to have clarity what it means. A restaurant is a family restaurant, so that's have to be open to more than 10 or 11 o'clock. And I said, the function in that environment or that intersection with this, I don't know how people get there because, like I said, they use our 22 parking space right now. And if we have any business or sell it, or we can just put the flowers over there. It was not bought for business. We keep this vacant for another 20 years. Okay, because we want to live it, to the end of our life here. And we see some development like that ugly building at the beginning of the Oak Street and the park. Huge, ugly building which destroy all the entrance to the Wicker Park. Nobody will put something should be molded, into the dunes, something of character, and there's this huge block standing there with those dunes, and it's just, it's not inspiring. And I think that we should talk publicly about those things. That's why we moved, that's why we bought this property by cash, just to keep it from something ugly. And if this is family restaurant for, we're happy to have it. But it has to be clear what it means, liquor license. For family restaurant, it's going to be bar. And maybe bar is fine too. I just state my objection. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, if there's anyone else who wants to come forward, speak against this particular project, please come forward, give your name, address, 3 minutes, please.
that was for the last
So
one,
you can
sorry.
take 30 seconds of his 3 minutes.
Leela Durkach, 900 North Shelby, 1176. Same issue, clarity about,
A little louder.
same issue, clarity about what it means, how long, how often, just a better definition of it. Because like the gentleman said, with the bar that's already there, they stay open to 2, 3, sometimes later. The cars are parked everywhere. I don't know who lives around there, but if you come there at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., yeah, and we clean,
Where's your property?
Our property is the old Perk.
Okay, yeah, right there on the corner.
Yeah,
I
we've
got
been
you.
propositioned, people want to pay a year's worth of rent upfront because they want to do a bar. We're not interested in that. We bought it so that it could be something productive and good for the community. So I just think we need better definition around what it means to have the liquor license for how long. Thank you.
Thank you. So, if anyone else wants to speak against this particular project, please come forward. Give your name, address, 3 minutes, please.
My name's Larry Verdusco at 8325 Locust Avenue. The same concerns I had when I spoke earlier. I thought I was speaking on this petition here. Same issues, hold true for me. I'd like to develop my property too. It's the reason why I invested in it. But I want it to be the best possible use for that property. And so, as it's been suggested for me to go on my own to rezone it, that's ideal with me. I come here for this petition because I think it has something to do with my thinking along what's going on there right now, and that's why the zoning on my property right now is not proper.
Yours is residential.
Yes, exactly. So I will pursue that through this council in the near future and wish this man all the success he could have.
Question real quick.
Yes.
There's no buffer or anything from your property and Flamingo, it's just.
Right.
I've gone there and wondered how
Okay,
you
you know where you're at.
many a times.
Recall.
Yeah.
While you're living next door to
Yeah.
the concert party.
And it's a great business. I have nothing against that business either. Everybody can
I've
coexist.
often wondered, can we call this gentleman back and let him perhaps address this couple's concerns?
No, we want to move on, Mr. Cook. Everybody's had their say. Are you talking about?
I just want him to clear up what their question is.
I don't have
That's
the
all.
money these people have, like, to pick out, serving this to this time, this to this time. It's a business. And I
They
will like-
specifically asked about the
The time-
license and that time frame for
Right.
that. Their concern was that it wasn't going to be a bar.
I'll-
Can you speak to that?
Yes. I'll have food the whole
Yes.
night. It'd be a limited late night with sandwiches and pizzas, but I don't know if I could keep the chefs by making specialty food.
But it won't be a bar, is
No.
what she's saying.
It's not set up for that.
And I think some of the concern is the hours that you're talking about that you're gonna operate in.
It'll be,
And if I hear them correctly, they're
yeah,
saying that.
it'll be what's
Let
allowed
me-
by
let me-
law.
Allow me to finish.
Oh, sure.
I think their concern is the late hours, because even though some of the younger people may be up at 2 or 3 in the morning, they're not. And so they're concerned about what are your hours on that you're gonna be operating on
My
a
hours
daily
will be
basis.
to the fullest extent of the law. I don't have the money where I could risk that.
Okay, I just wanted to.
And you already have establishment there. You have the Beach Cafe. And if I'm not mistaken, they close at, 12, 1 o'clock or something like that. And they have the same situation, basically restaurant with a bar. So I don't think they stay.
Yes.
Right.
So it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
If that's what the law says.
That's what the law says.
But a lot of times, the business doesn't allow for them to stay open because it's not productive.
Alcohol is most of that.
So essentially, it will be until 3 a.m.
Mr. Chair, the
Well, that's what the law would
three-way,
allow, is what
the
he's saying.
three-way licensing details what? If someone at the table can, a little rusty on the liquor license here. I know it's food,
6 in the morning,
okay,
but not on Sunday, I think it's 12.
but we on Sundays now.
And they can't sell carry out.
Sundays, you can't sell liquor in the morning. And
Carry out.
And in Indiana, I think it goes to
They
3 in
can't
the
carry
morning.
it in.
So you're not a carryout.
They can't carry any liquor out.
Okay, but I'm saying, with the three-way license, it's not a
I
permit,
think
so
the 3-way licenses are allowed, but I have
Yeah,
one in
3-way
Chicago,
license
I
would
never
allow.
use it. It's-
it does allow.
It would allow, through a license would allow them to actually sell liquor, sell alcohol to carry out.
Well,
The three-way, that's always been my understanding. I mean,
Right.
we don't really have it come up too much in Gary, but with the three-way license, you can
Right.
purchase.
Purchase.
I believe it's only limited to, I believe it's only limited to beer and wine.
Beer and wine.
Right.
Yeah.
so, what he could receive from the state would be contingent upon the zone that he was in, the city zoning. And so, the city zoning, let's see, restaurants with an appropriate ABL issued by the state. It does not say anything about takeout alcohol sales. So that would be something that we would coordinate with the state to make sure that the ABL that he was receiving, that it wasn't violating any local laws, basically is what I'm saying. He's going to have to stay within the
Yeah,
local zone.
and I'm thinking that everybody else in that area is, I don't believe that they have a three-way there, that they sell alcohol, beer, whatever. Take out, I don't think so.
Takeout.
I don't think
I
so.
believe they do.
You believe they do? You think Flamingo has that?
They have takeout?
Yeah.
Flamingo?
I think it's just, like it was this, I think it's just basically beer.
All right.
I didn't know that they could purchase six packs or anything like that, I don't think so.
Regardless, the sale of, the takeout sale of liquor is not allowed in this zone. So he'd have to get a variance to the code in order to do that.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
thought.
not allowed, honestly, it's not a by right packaged liquor sales.
Well, it's three, yeah, that would be a packaged liquor sale, the 3 ways for beer,
Right,
liquor,
Wine,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
wine.
Yeah.
That's what the 3-way is. And that allows you to, but I think that's what we're talking about are two different things. You can, if our zoning restricts it, then he would be restricted with it. If B3 doesn't allow it, he couldn't do it unless he got a variance. I mean,
But
which is your.
packaged beer and wine sales are not a by right use in any business zone.
It would have to be a special use.
It would have to be a special
Okay,
use.
so we're good.
Yeah.
So that stops him from being
So
purchased.
he can't do it.
Take out. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't do takeout.
So is that recommendation from staff then?
I think so.
What would staff recommendation?
I mean, by approving the zoning, by switching it to a B3, it would allow him to open a restaurant that had a liquor license. It would allow him to stay open to whatever the extent of the law was. However, Gary zoning does not allow beer, wine, liquor, packaged sales by right as a use in any business zone, including B3. You have to come in and get a variance, you have to come in. So in order for him to sell, takeout, beer, wine, liquor, anything like that, carry out, he would have to get another approval.
Right.
So that's that on that.
All right.
So, are you ready for the,
Well, we still contingent on, well, not with that, with the B3, we can go ahead and,
Okay.
and prove
public
that.
notices were all the same,
Yeah.
all the same as previous. So my recommendation would be to approve. I think that the area is, I mean, there's already establishments, having 3, I think is not a huge shift from having 2. There's been restaurants there in the past, as many people have discussed, they have not been successful. It's pretty easy to point to, this is a reason why. So in an effort to encourage successful businesses, encourage businesses to move into vacant properties, I think that this is a great use. In terms of parking, that's something that will be addressed in site plan review.
Right.
So I think that rezoning to, my recommendation is to approve.
And I only would say, in my, just because of my experience in that area, I've lived in that area for 40-plus years, near those establishments. Mr. Romano, if you've done your homework, then you know what the neighborhood can afford and, keep your prices right if you intend to go into this business and establish it long-term, because others have tried and failed because they, pie in the sky, whatever the case is.
For the record, this will be my 5th one.
Yeah.
So I'm not the rookie
All right.
coming in and
Okay.
doing that experience.
All right, understandable. So, haven't heard everybody's comments. Excuse me?
Just one question. Someone mentioned earlier that there are 4 liquor licenses allowed. Is that?
There are 4 left
Available.
for the city, for the city of Gary. 4 available.
All the rest of them are taken.
All right, so we've had most of the commissioners' commentary, and we got the recommendation from staff. So if we could have a motion for approval.
So moved, Mr. Chair, that we take staff's recommendation and approve the zoning change from B1 to B3.
Second.
And it's been moved and seconded. Director Kabitis, roll call, please.
Cundiff,
Yes.
Schilling,
Yes.
Grotho,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
All right, that's been approved. So we understand you have the contingents and the things that you have to do, exactly.
Thank you.
So if we can have a recommendation, any more
You'll have
questions?
to go to city council, so I'll coordinate with you, because your rezone has to be approved by city council. Your vacation is contingent upon Board of Works and Gary Sanitary District, so I'll be in contact with you to let you know next steps. Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry, we done?
We're done.
Oh,
Yeah.
And we'll look forward to working
Would
with
we
you.
have recommendation for dismissal?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second? That's it.